this morning in the newspaper is about a new crime novel that has polarised readers, publishers, the literary world. On one hand, Malcolm Gladwell thinks Death of an Author by Aidan Marchi is a thrilling literary experiment that heralds the new dawn of a new era in the creative landscape. And on the other hand, a lot of writers are saying that the novel is clever for sure, but it left me feeling hollow. Why? Well, the whole thing was written by AI. The book is called Death of an Author, quite appropriately, and it's written by a bot, combining things like ChatGPT, pseudo-write, Cohere. Look, I've barely got an idea what any of those things are, but they are just bits of computer technology, language apps that are able to write with artificial intelligence. And the big question is, should authors be worried about whether or not AI is going to take their jobs, or is this the best tool ever? If you're a writer, are you excited that you're getting your first draft done and you didn't have to break a sweat? Well, to talk about that, I'm joined by the Director of the Australian Society of Authors, Danielle Clode. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning, Charlie.
So did your blood run cold at the thought of AI writing books?
Well, I think that with AI, it's really an amazing tool that has come about that has a lot of potential to do a lot of amazing things. But whether it can actually write a book that's satisfying and creative and innovative and interesting to readers is another matter. And we have to remember that this book, The Death of the Author, is managed by an author. So he's used the AI tools to produce this book, but there's definitely a lot of knowledge and skill that's gone into putting it all together.
That is absolutely true. In the article that I read about it, it said that 95% of it was machine generated. But having witnessed authors' work up close, the edit has got almost more to do with it than just generating the material in the first place.
Exactly, yes. The editing is great. And he says when he's talking about how he used it, is that, the machine learning the AI is really good at coming up with paragraphs and writing in the style of something or other. But there's a couple of things going on there. First of all, you have to train the AI on something a human has written. And then secondly, you have to put it all together into a book. And AI is terrible at plot. They can't do plot at all at the moment. But I think that issue of where the work is coming from, it's not appearing magically for nothing. It's not coming out of thin air. They're using other writers' work to create that. And if you don't have the other writers' work to put into the AI, you've got nothing to pull out of it. And I guess that's where the big issue comes from, is whose work are you using? Are you paying for it, or are you just ripping someone off?
It's interesting when authors read other authors' work and pick up a turn of phrase or a sound. Well, that's just influence. A great author can be an influence on you. But if these machines are actually drawing on slabs of material from people's work, it does feel that you're starting to encroach on copyright.
Absolutely, yes. There's a whole heap of really complex legal issues going on here that are a problem in writing. So certainly copyright breaching, definitely using work of living authors who are still earning money from trying to earn a living from their work. There's also, intellectual property rights. There's a whole heap of false representation, so pretending to be authors. So we've got a lot of cases of people creating books in the style of an existing author, using their work through the AI, and then putting their name on it and selling it under the name of the author. And that's been a big case with Amazon at the moment, with copies, false copies coming out and trying to be sold under a fake name or under the real name of an author. So it's misrepresentation, and so there are a whole heap of complicated legal things going on that are going to cause problems for writers. And if we don't have the writers, if we don't support our writers and enable them to earn a living, then we won't have the raw material to create anything new with machine learning.
Currently in the United States, we've got a Screen Actors Guild and a Screenwriters Guild on strike. It's crippling the showbiz industry there. And a lot of that comes from the fact that they're scared of AI taking writing and acting jobs. At the Society of Authors, is that a concern that authors have at the moment, that AI could really be encroaching on their livelihood?
Look, I think the problem is that, writers earn very little from their writing. So the majority of writers are earning a tiny amount. I think the average is about $12,000 a year from writing all the books that we read, and very, very few writers actually make more than the average wage. So it's a tiny number of people who actually make a decent living from what they do. So we're already a very marginal occupation, as it were. And if you encroach on that, if you take away, if you take a slice of their work, which is what a lot of these machine learning programs are doing, they're taking writers' work and not paying them for the use of it. So you've got really big tech companies that are trying to get something for free. And we all know when something's offered for free, somebody else is paying for it.
That's absolutely true. Danielle Clode, Director of the Australian Society of Authors, thank you for your time this morning. We're about to take the 6:30 news, but coming up